Hey guys, welcome to another self-love conversation. My name is Gloria Ward, and today, ladies, we have our first international guest from the UK, Miss Mandy Nicholson, and she is going to talk to us about business, how to tap into our creative genius, and just give us some tips. And guys, we gotta respect her time. I know we like to go a little bit crazy, but it's late where she is, but I know she's gonna drop some nuggets for us. So, Mandy, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for doing this.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. It's a real joy to talk to people wherever they are in the world.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about this creative genius, this thing that you have going on.
Well, I am Mandy Nicholson and I am the creative genius consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a creative retreat owner, and I help all the wonderful creative women out there who struggle with their businesses to really launch, grow, and scale a proper business and make more money.
Mm.
So, yeah, I stepped into the creative space to make a difference and to help these women who struggle with their self-worth, with shiny object syndrome, with all of the things that go with being a creative.
And the biggest thing is that especially when you are a creative, when you say that, is it the arts? Is it more of like like the painters, the creators? When you say that creative, what part of the aspect of the business are you referring to?
I think creatives come in many shapes and forms, don't they? I mean, yes, I work with a lot of artists, a lot of authors, but also mosaicists,
Mm.
sculptors, crafters, all those different things that the creative designers and lots of, I mean, by nature, entrepreneurs are creative anyway.
Absolutely.
I work with a huge range of women, really, but I do seem to attract all of the traditional creatives. They're the ones that seem to struggle most to get their businesses on rails.
And why do you think that's so? I know a lot of creatives, especially like a lot of artists, and Mandy, they are so in tune to what they love and what they know, right? And
Mhm.
when it comes to the business side, they usually just throw that to the side, right?
Yeah.
Where they do stuff because they love it, but then they figure out that they have to make money from it,
Yeah. And
right?
that's exactly it, is that, they're following their passion, their joy, and that's a wonderful thing. What I found a lot from the women that I work with is that they've been told that they will never make a living from it.
That
That
is true.
it's a nice hobby, but you need to get a proper job.
That is
Um,
true.
yeah, and if you look at the average earnings for artists around the world, it's really low. They're generally on the poverty line. They're, the lowest income earners. 70% of women who come out with degrees in creative subjects end up in administrative roles and not in actually doing high paid creative roles, which generally fall to the men. And I think that, that goes throughout every culture. And if you look at gallery exhibitions, 83% of gallery exhibitions are white men.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
So I help those creatives out there that love what they do, that genuinely love what they do. And I teach them how to take that and put it into a business model that works for them, that they can work with, that isn't too linear, that isn't too strategic, that isn't too, that yes, you need strategy, but there's a
Hmm.
way of communicating with creatives. And I find, as you can see, you can see behind me, everything
Hmm.
I do, including mind mapping, is very creative. It doesn't have to be done on an Excel spreadsheet, and it doesn't have to
Yeah.
fit the rules of society. We're rule breakers. So find a way to break the rules and make it work.
Yeah, because I when I teach strategy and I come across somebody who is a creative, to me is very hard because I try to teach them like, things have to be set up in a way with a system and it just tunes out. So I had this guy who loves to bake cakes, right? He's a baker.
Mm-hmm.
And When I say the most beautiful, Mandy, the most beautiful cakes and most tastiest cakes you can ever make. And
Mhm.
so we were going through how he can actually turn this into a business and do that. He said, nope, I don't want to handle any of that. The only thing I want to do is I want to make cakes. I want to learn new recipes. I want to be able to, do what I love. If I get bogged down with everything else, I believe that I'm gonna lose my creativity. So
Mhm.
how do you get them to balance that? Do you tell them to hire people? Do you show them how they can balance? How does that work for them where they feel like they can still have that love and passion for it? Because it gets a little overwhelming sometimes, don't you think?
It really does. And I get this a lot with artists who truly are connected to their work. So I'll give you an example of one and how I just learned to adapt. I'm a businesswoman. I've
Mm-hmm.
been very successful in many arenas and I've got a very successful business. So I understand that you need strategy and you need systems and you need
Right.
processes. But what I have figured out is how to be completely flexible with these creative minds that are magnificent. So Penny joined me as this wonderful artist who had been a masseuse. And she used to be a massage therapist. So she discovered she could paint with both hands because she used to massage with both hands. And she
Yeah.
channeled the elemental energies of the forest and of nature into her paintings, painting with both hands. And she loved it. And she said she created beautiful pieces of work. She really does. But she never sold anything. And
Mm.
what I said to her is you've got to pick a niche and you've got to create a brand around you, but you've got to do what you love. So what's the thing you love doing the most with your work? And she said, well, I've been helping out at a disability centre, getting the disabled clients to put their mark on a canvas so that they help to create a canvas. I finish it off. It's a beautiful piece and it sits in front of them with something that they can remember on the wall. And I said, that's a great idea. You could do events. So
Yeah.
it's suggesting and coaxing them into think about how they can do what they love as a business model. And that afternoon, she was driving from one place to another in London and she saw a sign for a wedding fair and it connected in her head. The dots connected and she said, events. I could do weddings where I could do this signature canvas where all the guests participate and it's like a guest book on the wall. And now she has a business where she only has to work 1 day a week. She gets paid £1,000 to go and do weddings to do this signature canvas, and
Wow.
she's booked into 2024 because
Wow. That's
we found
amazing.
it's great, but we found a business model that fit with her rather than fitting her into a business model. That's
Yeah.
the win.
Wow. So how did you get here though, Mandy? What's your story? How did you figure out how to help creatives?
Well, I did what most of us do as creatives. I went to uni and I did my degree in art and design. And I came out with this degree going, yeah, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be a famous artist. And I couldn't find a job. And I ended up in a proper job like most creatives do. And what we're very good at as well is adapting and being good at all the different things that we do. So I was good at this proper job and I made a
Mhm.
career from it. And I made a career that put me at the top of that game. It was in retail. I was very successful. I had a 6-figure salary. And once you're on that hamster wheel, it's very difficult to get off. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's what happens to us. But there's always this void inside you where you're not using your creativity. Even though I was using it through leadership, it wasn't really the same. And then the universe changed my life, I believe. It was in 2009, and I had a car crash on the way to work, and it
Mm.
nearly killed me.
Wow.
And that triggered a series of unfortunate events. It's almost like it was pressing the reset button. And I ended up losing that job. I ended up losing my husband. I ended up losing my dad died of cancer. My son was diagnosed with autism. And at the end of a 12-month period when all the worst things that had happened could happen to me, I was made homeless and ended up in social housing with no money.
Mm.
But I had my brain and I had this reset of we're going to strip it all away you need to rebuild it your way. And
That's right.
it was the greatest gift I was ever It sounds awful, but it was the greatest gift. Yeah.
I was thinking, do you feel like you was living someone else's life? Do you feel like you was trying to fit into this world where you knew you couldn't fit in? Because there's so many people who are living like that, not only creatives, and you try as a mentor, a consultant to say, you
Mhm.
want to be able to tap into who you are because life is so short. You just never know, right,
Yeah.
Mandy? You just never know.
Never know.
And you try to get people to understand that you don't have to hit rock bottom like we did
Mhm.
to see it,
Mhm.
right?
So
And
everybody, yeah, I think everybody's rock bottom is different, isn't it? But sometimes I think some of us have to hit that rock bottom so we can teach others.
mm, I like that.
That's the gift that was given to me. So I wrote a book about it. And
Yeah,
that book inspires others. But I use that story through my social media and through my business to tell people, look, I know what it's like at the worst. I've
absolutely.
been there more than once. So that's kind of what prompted me to go back to my creativity because I was like, what's the worst that can happen?
Hmm.
What
Right.
is the
The
worst?
work there. And to you, it already happened. So what else is it? Right?
Yeah.
It's like you already experienced death. You've been in a car crash. You had all this stuff happen to you. Why not live?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Why not
Yeah.
live? I said to myself, I said, you know what? Um, I experienced death all around me. I thought I hurt somebody when I got into a car crash because it was my fault.
All
I
right.
was a drunk driver,
Right.
right? And I said to myself, I said, you know, if this is what rock bottom is,
Mhm.
I got the lesson.
Mhm.
Right? Because I knew what the next step was going to be if I continued down that road.
Yeah.
And so now everything is done with purpose.
Mhm.
And that's the message that we want to be able to get out there to these women. It's like follow your passion because it's in you for a reason. It's there for a reason. And I
Mhm.
tell them, Mandy, somebody is waiting on you, right?
Totally. Somebody is waiting, and what you want already exists. You just have to go and grab it. Yeah. It's
So
there already. Yeah.
So the question is, see, here's where it gets foggy because you said you got to go grab it. Their question would be, how do you do that? Because it seems like it's a lot of steps,
Yeah.
right? Like it's so far. Even though I can see it, it seems like it's so far. What would you tell someone when they say stuff like that?
What I always say, and it's the same thing every time, is it starts and it ends with you, and you have to forgive yourself and everybody else for everything and release yourself to be this magnet in the world. And when you can forgive yourself and find gratitude for what you have, even if it is not very much, then you can start to manifest what you want and need. And that's what I did. I started to manifest exactly what I wanted into my life. You know, I started to build a business. I met my dream man. I started to turn my life around. I could see it happening, and I was doing it in very baby steps. But I never had to look for work again. When I started manifesting, it came to me.
Hmm.
I didn't have to look for my dream man. He just was there one day.
Hmm.
And although I was put through some more tests, and I met this wonderful man, he came into our lives, he changed them, the kids loved him, he was wonderful. And in 2020, he died at the start of COVID.
Mm,
So I had to go through it again. But
that's right.
what he taught me in the years we had was life's too darn short. You need to live it every day. And he was the one who really gave me the hardest shove and said, follow your dreams and just do it.
Wow.
So in 2018, I put a castle on my vision board.
Mhm.
So I was like, why not me? I wanted to buy a Scottish castle so I could do creative retreats from all around the world for women all around the world. And I thought that's a 10-year plan. That's not, it's £3 million to buy that. I don't have £3 million in my bank account, but I'm going to put it on there
Mhm.
anyway because I deserve it.
That's
And
right.
I can help loads more women if I have that. Gary died in 2020. That castle had been on my vision board for about 8 months. And in 2021, I decided to sell our house and move to Scotland so I could feel the goal more deeply.
Yeah.
And the universe planted the miniature version of this castle right in front of me. And I'm now living in it and I'm doing creative retreats. So when I'm saying, yeah, that's exactly what I do now, as well as coaching women and all the other things. I have about 15 different income streams coming into this business.
Oh.
I've gone, I want to do this. Right, let's do this. Let's put a strategy. I want to do this. Let's put a strategy in. And I've just gone
Hmm.
and said, do you know what? I can do everything. I can do this
That's right.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And what I want the ladies to take away from this, first of all, I love you because you're a true, true realization of what it means to manifest and know that you have to go after things and be grateful for the things you have,
Mhm.
because being grateful and having that gratitude is how you get more, because
Yeah.
it's like a healthy more. You
Yes.
know what I'm
It's
saying?
healthy, purposeful more. Yeah.
Exactly. And it just comes. And a lot of people struggle with that because it's like they're playing double dutch, right? It's like you believe and then you don't because you're looking at reality. You believe and then you don't. But when you start to see just how powerful you are when the little things happen and you are grateful for the little things and you start to believe in yourself more,
Mhm.
it shows up,
Yep.
right? It shows up. So I am so happy for you and I'm so proud of you because I tell people all the time, you just have to put yourself out there and allow yourself to feel and understand that when you're following your passion, it's in you for a reason. It is nagging at you for a reason. You don't like that job for a reason. You
Yep.
don't like your life for a reason. You don't like the relationship you in for a reason, because the inside of you is nudging you, right, Mandy, and saying, no, 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 there's
It's sometimes
something
it's
wrong.
sometimes it's screaming at you and you don't hear it because we've got blinkers on and we've got earmuffs on that society has put onto us.
That's
The
right.
the layers that society has put onto us. Peel it back. That's what I
That's
say to
right.
my, yeah, peel it all back.
Oh my God, I love this. So, what is the name of that book where you wrote
Uh,
your story so we
so
can see?
my book is called The Life I Won, and
Mm,
it's written under my pen name, which is AJ King, which is a tribute to my dad who died during that series of unfortunate events in that year. And
yes.
it's the first of a trilogy because I wrote that to get that out and to help people. So The Life I Won is book one. The Life
Mhm.
I Created is book two. And book three, I'm living book three right now, and it's got a castle
Yeah.
in it. So yeah.
Oh man, that is amazing. So tell us, how we can follow you,
Mhm.
where we can find out about your programs for those women who want to participate and maybe, take advantage of some of your services.
Yeah, well, you can find me on my website, which is mandynicholson.co.uk. And for the Art Bank, which is my creative retreat place, so it's the Art Bank Dalbeatty in Scotland, DALBT, Dalbeatty, and that's .com, theartbankdalbeatty.com. You can find me everywhere on social media. I'm on every platform. And if you go to my website, there's loads of freebies on there. Take advantage of the free resources. This is how you get to know people, isn't it? And to see what they do.
Mhm.
And I run a 5-day challenge every quarter for women to come and work with me for 5 days and get loads of free resources. And that's where I launched my Creative Mastermind, which is my signature program every quarter. So I have hundreds of women in that 5-day challenge. Some sign up, some don't. You can read my books, you can take my freebies. I've even written that one of my parked books that's coming up soon is called The Mind of a Creative. I've been studying the women I've been working with because the creative mind is so fascinating,
It
very,
is.
very unique. And there's a freebie on there with all the things I've noticed about the creative mind, and everybody that reads it goes, oh, I'm all of these.
Yeah. Yeah, like, no, I have that. I checked that. I checked that.
Do
That's me.
that.
That's me.
But I think it's important to know ourselves, and as creatives accept that we sometimes are the weirdo in the room, and it's okay to be the weirdo in the room because
Hmm.
that's where the best ideas come from.
Exactly.
Instead of people completely chucking buckets of water on you for being the person with the big ideas, speak out and share them,
Right.
because what you've got to say matters. Don't hide in
Right.
the corner.
And I have that confidence to know that what's inside of you, the world needs. I tell people every day, the world needs you. If
Mhm.
it didn't, you wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
You see, if
Mhm.
you didn't have anything left to do in this world, you wouldn't be here. But if you wake up every day with the activity of all of your limbs, then that means that your talent, your gifts, your abilities are needed for something. And it takes people like you, Mandy, and myself to continue to pour into these creatives, these entrepreneurs and women to remind them that little nudge you have, it's real.
Mhm.
That feeling you have, it's real. You have to listen. And you teach them how to listen.
Yep.
And I love that. And you give them a strategy to actually turn it into something, to money,
I
right?
do, and it's a strategy for them because they have so much creative power that once they step into that power, it's so bright, it
Oh,
shines
yeah.
so bright, and it's amazing how quickly you can switch that power on once you start holding the mirror up and saying, "Look how amazing you are."
Mm, that's amazing. So my last question is, uh, anybody who is looking for it virtually, who's not where you are, is that
Mhm.
possible?
Yeah, I work with people all over the world.
Okay.
I have plenty of clients from the US. So my program is very inclusive because it's online and we do
Hmm.
coaching via Zoom. It means you can do
Okay.
it anywhere in the world.
Gotcha. So it is a virtual aspect of it where you
Yeah.
can be able to sit and work with you, and you do group sessions, one-on-one sessions.
Group sessions, one-on-one sessions. There's a teachable training platform with lots of training in. We do mindset sessions. We have tech calls. So we've got a fully supported program. We literally take you by the hand for a year in the mastermind program. Now, if you want to come to retreats, you have to come to Scotland. That means you've got to
Right.
get on a plane and come to
That's
Scotland.
right. That's
Yeah,
right. But it will be worth it if you've
yeah,
been doing the work,
yeah,
it will
yeah.
be worth it if you've been doing the work. Mandy, thank you so much for doing this. I enjoyed our conversation. It's like you're my spirit sister. You was talking about the universe
Mhm.
and being grateful and having that gratitude and something in me started leaping. So I'm
Excellent.
happy about that. I'm happy about that. Thank
Me
you so
too.
much.
My pleasure. It's great to talk to you.
Absolutely. And give your social media one more time to everyone.
So yeah, mandynicholson.co.uk. Find me everywhere: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Creative Genius Consultant or Mandy Nicholson. You will find me.
Mandy, have a good night. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
See you.
Bye.